Welcome, my constant reader friends. I'm Tad, and this is Tad Reads Books and Stuff. So, today we're going to complete August. Just a little update of how I finished August, and of course, heading into September, Sci-Fi September. So, I did finish this week number 2 in the Expanse, CALIBAN'S War. We'll discuss this today. Man, I love these covers. These covers on this Orbit edition of these books is really good. Really like that. So we'll go through that. Also, I did finish the second short story. It's kind of a story that relates to this time period in book 2, but it's a story about Fred Johnson. We'll talk about that. I finished that, of course. Now, starting this month, Sci-Fi September, I will be going to book 3 in the Expanse series, Abaddon's Gate. Again, I love these freaking covers. They are really awesome. I haven't started this yet. I'm going to take a little break on my Expanse reading. It will be, of course, read this month, along with the third short story in the series. But I haven't started that yet. What I did start was Ursula K. Le Guin. Now, these are the 3 Hainish novels. I'm starting this, and I'm reading it in publication order. So the first novel in this trilogy here is Rokanan's World, and I've read about 50 pages. I started it already, 50 pages, and I'm already almost halfway done with the first novel, this Rokanan. I guess it's a novella, a novelette, I don't know what you want to call it, a long story. It's only about 110 pages, the first book in this series, but we will be reading the first 4 published novels by Ursula K. Le Guin in the Hainish world. So I've started that, and let me pull this up here if I can. I started listening to Alien Into the Charybdis. Now, I got this free on Audible. What I do is, I've got my Audible subscription, and every once in a while there's things that are Audible only, and a lot of times they're free. I've gone through and started collecting whenever they put up an Alien novel or novella or audio play or something like that. We'll go over this when I'm done with it, but I've started listening to this about 4 or 5 hours into it so far. Again, it's just a guilty pleasure, the Aliens, and it fits in with my Sci-Fi September. So we're listening to that right now. I hope you can see it. I hope I don't have too much glare on the screen. But interesting so far. We'll see. We'll see where it goes. All right, let's move into my review of, well, first we're going to start with the short story. So the short story is called The Butcher of Anderson Station. If any of you have read these series before, you know what that is. If you've watched the TV series, you know what that is, of course. This is a story of Fred Johnson, who now in the Expanse world he's the leader of the OPA now. But back when this story first starts, he's a colonel in Earth Force. So Fred Johnson is a colonel in Earth Force, and he gets sent to Anderson Station to quell this uprising. They're calling it a terrorist takeover of the station by these belters, and he is sent in to quell this. Now, to give him credit, he isn't necessarily a war hawk, although he is a colonel and he is known for being a great commander in Earth Force. But he's pretty much at this point a yes sir type of person. But he does have some feelings, some emotions. He does want to make sure that they try every avenue of diplomatic reasoning with these quote-unquote terrorists, these belters, before he has to go in militarily, and take over. But those negotiations fail. He's ordered to go in, but that's where he gets his nickname, the Butcher of Anderson Station, and his fame or becomes infamous as the Butcher of Anderson Station. This story is in the future a little bit from that time, and I think he's having a lot of remorse for what he had to do on Anderson Station, and I think he's feeling it on the weight of it on his shoulders, and he's blaming himself. And I think he really wants, some people, what do they call it, suicide by police. They'll pull out a gun or something so that police shoot him and kill him. He's kind of in that situation, I think, where he's pushing his luck, and he just really wants to end it, but he wants somebody else to do it for him, kind of thing. I don't know. I'm not going to give too much of it away, but it's not that long. It's only 29 pages. It was published actually before Caliban's War. It was published in October 2011. On Goodreads, it has a 3.99 right now, currently. So it's almost a 4 rating. Not bad. I mean, like I said, it's 29 pages, but it gives you some little background on Fred Johnson and who he was, and now who he's become, who we're reading now in these books. It was an interesting story. Continue with those short stories as we read through the series. All right, on to Caliban's War. Let's get the numbers out of the way for Caliban's War. This was published actually in June of 2012. It has, this version has 624 pages, and on Goodreads it's a 4.36, which is pretty darn good. Now, what is it? First off, the good thing about this novel over Leviathan Wakes, the first one, is we get to see the story unfold through multiple point of views. Instead of in the first book, it was really Miller and Holden, and it just went kind of back and forth, Miller and Holden, Miller and Holden. This book, we introduce some more characters, which is great. First off, we start off on Ganymede with this monster on Ganymede. Of course, it's we learn that it's a proto-molecule military experiment kind of thing. You have to read it, but so there's a monster on Ganymede, and it's like destroying people. That's where we meet Bobby Drummond. Bobby Drummond is a Martian Marine, and she pretty much watches this monster really slaughter her whole platoon, and she's really the only survivor of this attack. We meet Bobby Drummond, who right off the bat is one of my favorite characters throughout the whole series. I know she's going to be. I have watched the TV series, and she's awesome in the TV series, so that was awesome. Then also on Ganymede we meet Prax. Now Prax is this biologist, and he's on Ganymede as well, and he basically in the story is in a search for his kidnapped daughter. His daughter disappears from his like a day school that she's in, and he has to find her. Solely driven man. Some horrible crap happens to him, but he never wavers. He never stops searching for his daughter. And overall, that's one of the main overall arcs of this story, Caliban's War. It's interesting, but so you can read through that. Then one of the best things we do is we go to Earth, and we meet Undersecretary Christian Avasarala, and she is freaking awesome. So they constantly describe her as grandmotherly. So, but this is this grandmother with a vicious potty mouth, and she is awesome. She is one of the main characters throughout the rest of the series, and I loved her. I loved her character. I love the actress in the show. She is no one to, as she says, fuck with. And it's true. So that's cool. So now we've got 3 other characters now that we're really starting to flesh out this world, this universe. And we're going to different places now. We go to Io in here. We go to, of course, Ganymede, Earth, Venus. Venus now is going crazy. In the last one, Miller crashed into Venus with the protomolecule, and there's some crazy stuff going on in Venus that no one really knows what's going on, so we're trying to keep track of that. So that plays a big part in this story and in successive stories. And of course we have James Holden and the crew of the Rocinante. Again, I still dislike James Holden. He's too much of a goody-goody. Almost not real, but then they try to give him this... again, I don't want to give too many spoilers. I get yelled at for giving spoilers all the time, but I really just want to sit here and talk about the books. But you do flesh out some of the crew a little bit. Alex, you really start liking, the pilot. His relationship with Bobby, since they're both Martians, is kind of cool. And of course, Amos is freaking awesome. Amos is very cardboard, straightforward type of badass guy, but with a heart. I don't know, it's kind of interesting. Tell me what you think about Amos. I really like him, but he's got a story too, and we'll see that as we go on. But Jesus, the Rocinante is always in the thick of things. James Holden is always in the thick of things. Of course, that's what the series is about, of course, but it's still interesting to watch. Now, what do I say that's not so good about this story? I thought the pacing dropped a little from Leviathan Wakes. I loved the fast, no holds barred, full speed ahead writing style of Leviathan Wakes. I liked that a lot. It does slow down a little bit here, but now we're starting to introduce a lot more politics into the story, which is interesting, but sometimes can seem a little bit slower, I think, at times. But it's interesting. It's still good. I mean, it is what it is, but I think it's going to ramp up even more the politics in these stories. I don't think there's any way around that, but that's fine. But I have seen some complaints that this is really the first book, just told differently. It's a search for a missing person. And yeah, I guess I gotta say that it kind of is, but it's different. I mean, it's not a noir style detective, novel like the first one was. This is more of like, Liam Neeson, I'm gonna come for you, you've taken my dog. No, it's not even that, because Prax is pretty much a wimp and makes mistakes. Yeah, you gotta read it, but Prax is the father, of course. And he's searching for his daughter, but that's cool. It is an integral part of the story and what is happening with the military, the politics, the science, the protomolecule, and what's going on in this universe. So it plays a big role in the story, and I liked it. It was fine. Again, it's a second novel now in a 9-novel, series. I think it's good. Some people put down the writing as not being, the greatest, but that's not what it is. It's pure science fiction opera, space opera. It's large, it's bombastic, it's fun, It is a little clownish, a little bit, some of the characterizations and things, but I think it all makes it endearing and a joy to read. I had fun reading it, and I can't wait to start the third novel, Abaddon's Gate, but I'm going to hold off a little bit on that one. I want to really get into the Hainish novels. But anyways, that's Caliban's War. It's, you know, it's nothing, it's not going to, you know, change the world or anything, this novel, but purely entertaining, and I enjoyed it. All right, so we're going to continue on from Sci-Fi September and go from there, see how that goes. Please, if you found any entertaining value in this video, please like and subscribe to my channel. I'd appreciate it. Also, send the comments. I am continuing to get more and more comments, which I just love. I love the interaction and even seeing some of the things that people say. I enjoy it. I don't care if, you know, if you have a different take on things. I want to hear it. It's just all good to me. Like I said, this is like a fireside chat. We're just sitting down talking about books. All right, guys. Peace out.